Good morning. My name's Eric Bernaccio, and thank you for tuning into my channel. Today, I'm just going to share with you my 10 health and fitness commandments, the things that help me accomplish my goals and keep my drive and my focus on what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. So there are actually 10 of them. I'm going to do 10 short videos over the next 10 days, which is gonna just break down each of the commandments that I've written and just explain how one can't work without the other and how they affect me and how they apply them to my life and what they actually mean. So the list of 10 goes as follows: obedience, discipline, desire, willingness, consistency, nutrition, rest, hydration, supplementation, and exercise. So the top 5 I've broken down into a separate category, which is pretty much spiritual and mental fitness. Without having those 5s, I feel that you can't be spiritually fit to your maximum capabilities, and without those 5, you can't be mentally fit to your full capacity. And the bottom 5 are pretty much about the fitness, physical aspect of the dynamic. And I think that truly, if you lack in any one of these 10, that you will suffer to accomplish your goals or just meet your full potential. So the first video today is about obedience. So obedience means compliance with order, request or law, or submission to one's authority. So I know for me, I've had a hard time most of my life just dealing and applying obedience to my life. I have never liked authority figures. I have a hard time submitting, especially submitting to the will of God. I've always taken my own will back, and also being in compliance with order. I was out of order for a long time. If anybody knows me or my history, I was the worst of the worst, homeless street addict that God saved by grace and now has been delivered. And today, I am able to apply obedience in my life on a whole different level. So for me, I respect authority today. Today, I know that the law is there and the law was given to us by God and it is not meant to be broken. So I abide by the law today. So I'm in compliance with order, and my life has order, and it is in compliance with what it is God is wanting me to do. This is very important. I feel if we don't have obedience in our life, that nothing else will come together. Obedience demonstrates faith and trust in God. So how can we be obedient to God if we don't show that we are faithful in our trust towards Him? So anytime that we, get anxiety, fear, worry, have circumstances that arrive in our lives, and we don't keep the focus on God and know that He will be our strength and our cornerstone to get us through these situations, then, we're not practicing obedience in our lives. So for me, I have to, every situation that occurs in my life or any struggle that occurs in my life, I know that going back to my old life and old way of dealing with things is no longer an option, that I just trust that God is going to bring me through no matter what. So I am obedient to His promises for me. Obedience demonstrates that you are in compliance and you will be able to achieve. So when we are in compliance, it is due to being obedient, and then at that point we're able to achieve. We truly can't achieve anything without God. When we are in our own flesh, or we don't pick up our cross, the struggle is very real. And for those that don't know, or maybe aren't saved, or haven't had the seed planted from Christ, you do not know what you don't know. And my prayer is for them to be able to just see the change in myself and allow God to use me as a vessel, so maybe that they could change as well. So right now, achieving goals for me is huge. It brings on a sense of completion, a sense of feeling better than I was before. And my goal is to make myself a better person than I was yesterday. And my goal is to deal with situations differently than I have in the past. And my goal is to help others. My goal is to bring glory to God. Like, I have goals. Like, I'm going back to school for the first time in 15 years in 2 weeks. And it's an amazing opportunity that God has given me. Am I scared? Yeah. But I just know God has a plan, and I know that He's going to bring me through. And I know that as long as I'm obedient to Him, that He will help me in this situation and be able to just succeed and achieve. Because so far I've accomplished so much in this short period of time. It's been almost 3 years since the last time I was out on the streets, and God is so faithful to me, and I'm so grateful, and I can't express that enough. Gratitude should actually be on this list, but I think upon being obedient to God, that gratitude has to be intertwined, because you can't truly be grateful for what you have if you're not showing obedience to God. And what we don't show that we're grateful for, surely we will lose, because we won't respect it and we won't appreciate it. Obedience, a good way of helping yourself become obedient is telling yourself that you can do this, speaking positive affirmations, speaking it into existence. A lot of people believe that the energy that you put off and the energy of people around you affects you. And I believe that could be true to an extent. If you're hanging around with people that are pretty much engulfed in sin or are consumed by fleshly desires, then you're more likely to be subject to that. And speaking and being around people that want you to do better and speaking positive things into your own life, and just having those people to hold you accountable will help you succeed. You want to surround yourself with people that want you to do better, that want to see a better representation of you, that want you to progress in your life and not digress. So I strongly suggest, upon being obedient to the Lord, that you surround yourself with people that are also obedient to the Lord. So part of being in compliance and submission to authority is submitting to God. Like, we need to submit to God on a daily basis. Like, we cannot deny the fact that He is in control. When we try to take control of our own lives, we are showing disobedience. We must show obedience to our employers. We might be asked to do things that we don't want to do at the time, but we know that God has placed that authority in our lives to teach us something, and that God doesn't put anybody anywhere in our lives without purpose, and that we must be obedient to them. Our families, friends, loved ones, we need to be obedient to them, like fulfilling our obligations and our promises, and make sure our word is true today, like the Lord's word is true. Like, you don't want to be known as someone who can't keep it together and can't keep their promises or their obligations. And also submitting to the process. Like, it's a process. Nobody is perfect. We are all born into sin. Every single person has faults, flaws, and will make mistakes. It's just how you deal with those mistakes and how you are able to learn from your mistakes and move forward and allow yourself to be changed. Humiliation, humbleness, admitting that you're wrong when you're wrong, and taking the hand of God and allowing Him to pull you through it. So, a little bit for me about compliance and obedience. I'll just go through one of my daily mornings just to show you how I practice obedience. So I wake up every morning between 4:30 and 5, and the first thing I do is open my Bible and I read my devotion. And recently I started recording it because the Lord waved it on me. And I also was posting a tip of the day, which is what I'm doing now in a video vlog. Those two things ground me for my whole day. They give me the motivation to drive. They know they allow me to stay focused on what it is that I want to accomplish for the day. They set the tone. So I just advise everybody to set the tone for the day. I don't need to wake up at 5 or 4:30. I could wake up at 6, roll over, get out of bed, and go right to work. But that is not going to set me up for a successful day. I need to be wrapped in the arms of God daily. So that's how I start my day. Then I make myself my first meal. I also prep everything for the whole week. I cook my meals twice a week, and I portion everything. So right now I'm in a strict bodybuilding regimen, eating 7 meals a day. And in order to stay compliant and obedient to the meal nutritional plan that I'm on, that I need to think ahead, and I need to cook my food ahead of time, and I need to portion it so that way I don't have to sit there and waste hours or minutes at a time preparing meals. I do it all and I have it all set. So I pack my lunch the day before, the night before I go to bed for work, for all my meals that I'm going to be out of the house for. And I also make sure that I take my daily supplementation in the morning when I wake up as well. I take a variety of different supplements, things that are pretty much health prone, for immune system building, for heart disease prevention, for skin, for hair, for multivitamin, stuff like that. I'll get into that a little bit further along when I get into the vlog about supplementation. But I do that as well. And I also make sure my work clothes are all set, ready to go when I get up in the morning. My gym bag's already packed to work out for when I get out of work later on that day. And then I go off to work. And I work, anywhere from 8 to 10 hours between travel. And as soon as I leave work, now this is Mondays I'm talking about, I go right over, usually to the gym, but seeing how the gym isn't open, I've been fortunate enough to have a basement gym at my brother-in-law's house. I go over and utilize that for 2.5, 3 hours, where we do one body part a day. We do abs and we do cardio. And from there, I come home, I cook my last meal of the day, I wash up, and I tighten up the loose ends. I get everything prepared for the next day. I have my bag packed again. I pack my lunch. If there's any food that I need to cook that I ran out of, I cook. If there's any food that's left over I need to portion, I portion. I've been fortunate enough to be able to do virtual Bible studies. So on Wednesday night, I've been doing a Bible study that's virtual through my church. And also, I've been watching sermons at night, and I also watch tons of YouTube videos on bodybuilding, health, and nutrition. Anything that I put in is positive, and I make sure that I don't feed my mind, my soul, or my heart with anything that's negative. But that's just a little bit of how I'm obedient to the process, how I'm obedient to the Lord. And there's a lot of little details in between that happen throughout my day that I just, would take, quite a bit of time to expound on. But, I stay connected with people, and people that have struggled like me, and people that are currently struggling, and people that are just curious about the Lord. And I'm pouring into people constantly, and I have an open phone and open social media where I'm constantly getting contacted about advice on nutrition, health, bodybuilding, weight training, questions about God, how did I get to where I was to where I am, because some people knew the way that I was before. And it's just an amazing feeling to feel like a person that is trusted and a person that people can rely on when they need solid information, or just need an ear to bend, or just need to vent or ask advice. And it feels good to be available to these people, because I wasn't available for life before. So with that being said, that's pretty much sums up being obedient. The biggest thing is your obedience to God, and everything else falls into place. And this is video number 1 of 10, breaking down Eric's Fitness Commandments. Thank you. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and tune in for the next video.